Poor King Charles, not only Sussex couple, Andrew has not been eliminated yet. A new report has claimed that Her Majesty left Prince Andrew a substantial inheritance which he looks set to use to clear his name. Hello and a very warm welcome to the Celebrity Tribute channel. The late Queen was somebody who rarely made any sort of mistake whatsoever. She always thought carefully before she would act. She was considerate and she was never rash. And her reign was one that was defined by stolid, calm leadership, as well as her unwavering devotion to the power of the brooch. Except, of course, when it came to her son, Prince Andrew, the Duke of York. When it came to her disgraced son, all bets were off. While the Queen was not known to ever make mistakes, perhaps her greatest miscalculation was the way that she handled the 2019 mess that claimed the Duke's reputation and royal career. And unfortunately, a new report is claiming that Her late Majesty may have made another big mistake when it came to her paunchy toad of a son. She may have left him a large sum of money in her will, and that means that he could have the funds to try to stage a public comeback. Now, Richard Kay is very well connected. He was one of the last people Diana, the Princess of Wales, called before she passed away. And he spoke with the Daily Mail reporting that it is thought Andrew was left a substantial inheritance by the Queen. Well, exactly what does that mean, you may be asking right now. Well, unfortunately, we have no way of knowing for sure, considering that royal wills, under a special royal legal provision, are kept secret for at least 90 years, and they are kept in a very safe location that nobody knows about and that can only be accessed by a specific judge. But the late Queen did have a lot of money to play around with. The 2022 Times Rich List put her personal wealth, and that's not including the sovereign grant and revenue from the Duchy of Lancaster, at approximately $646.5 million. And this is where we get to the very problematic bit, exactly what Andrew may do with this injection of money into his bank account. Now, according to Kay, one thing he could use his newfound money for is to mount a legal challenge against Virginia Giuffre. Next week, it will have been exactly 1 year since we learned that Andrew had reached a financial settlement with his accuser Virginia Giuffre, who claimed in a U.S. court that he had sexually abused her on 3 separate occasions when she was only a teenager. Of course, he has continued to deny these claims. Now, at the time, it was not reported exactly how much he paid to stop that case from going to court, but estimates vary from $5.2 million to $21 million. What was clear, though, was that the royal family wanted this horrible situation behind them before the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations began. They were not going to allow anything to interfere with a national opportunity to crack out the bunting and finger sandwiches. But today, the landscape of the royal family has shifted a lot. Andrew no longer has to take his beloved mother into consideration, and now he has a lot of financial power, so he can drag Miss Giuffre right back to court without having to beg his brother for a 6- or 7-figure IOU. Now, late last year, Ms. Giuffre ended up withdrawing from a lawsuit against lawyer Alan Dershowitz, saying that maybe she made a mistake in accusing him of having sexually abused her. And then, in January, we learned from The Sun that after the Dershowitz news, Andrew was considering legal options, including whether or not he may have that settlement overturned. The one I feel sorry in all of this is poor King Charles. The possibility that his younger brother may be about to barrel right back into the headlines is something he does not need. Now, another factor we need to remember in this possible new Andrew debacle is that supposedly next month the NDA applicable to both Andrew and Ms. Giuffre, a Perth-based mother of 3, is going to end. And that means both of them can speak freely and publicly. It was crafted to cover the year of the late Queen's Platinum Jubilee, according to a source who spoke with the Mail. Once it is up, there is nothing to stop the Duke possibly becoming more proactive. And considering that the poor king already has one royal firestorm to deal with in the form of his son and daughter-in-law, that one word, proactive, is not a word that Charles wants to hear right now when it comes to his younger brother. King Charles already has to deal with trying to figure out what to do about Meghan and Harry and their repeated primetime eruptions. He does not need to worry about his brother deciding maybe he wants to try to clear his name. And this is exactly where the king really is in a sticky situation, considering that with the late queen's influence now gone, and Andrew reportedly now having the money to pay his own lawyer's bills, there's absolutely nothing to stop him causing as much trouble as he wants to. But I'm afraid for poor King Charles, this story gets even worse. Now, it would be bad enough to have to watch an aggrieved, self-pitying Andrew try to make headlines and also clog up the court system. But some reports are also suggesting that Andrew may try his hand at writing. A longtime friend of the Duke has told the Mail that it is inconceivable that he has not thought about writing a tell-all of his very own. Yeah, pretty horrifying stuff indeed. So the friend told the Mail, plenty in his circle think that's just what he should do, and Fergie, who has written her own memoir, My Story, has got all the contacts in publishing. He would never have considered it while his mother was alive, but it would be the perfect repost now. Meanwhile, also in January, the New York Post reported that Virginia Giuffre signed a literary deal of her very own worth millions of dollars. I mean, at this rate, Charles's blood pressure is going to skyrocket every single time he sees a book catalog. The ironic thing about this whole situation is that in the late queen having allegedly left her second son a substantial inheritance, she also empowered him to make her eldest son's first year as king an absolute nightmare. King Charles is trying to settle into the role, and now he also has to deal with the prospect of this Andrew scandal coming right back up. I'm sure he just wishes this would all go away. Now, I'm going to let you decide if money cannot buy happiness. It can buy a lot of drama, but happiness I'm not so sure. And then the king has to worry about Harry off in California doing God knows what. Harry tries to convince us that William is so cruel. Well, okay, maybe he stole the first birthplace from Diana's womb. Is that what Harry wants us to think? That would also be Charles's fault, would it not? If he had just had a daughter instead of William, then Harry would be the heir. He wouldn't have to be the spare. But of course, he's not, and there is nothing either of them can do about it. If Harry had any sense whatsoever, he would have started planning his own destiny in the world a long time ago. But no, he wanted to be lazy, and he just wanted to ride William's coattails. So fine, let William do all the work, and Harry can just be drunk or stoned or whatever. Now, at the end of the day, we are all responsible for the choices that we make in life. And Harry was born into such wealth and privilege. He had more options and opportunities than anybody else on this planet, and look at what he's done with it. The fact is, Harry had many more options than William did. William did not get to choose what he would be when he grew up. He was born into his destiny. His entire life was already written out for him, from birth until the day he passes. Now, it's William I have sympathy for. I don't have any sympathy for Harry. Harry just needs to grow up, and he needs to start acting his age. He's got a wife and kids, supposedly, but he just acts like a little toddler, pitching a fit about things that did not go the way he thinks they should. And what about you? Please join the conversation and share your opinions on the royal family. We really value your insight and we welcome your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for the latest updates on everything related to the royal family. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you have a lovely day, and we'll be back to see you in the next episodes.